Hello, my friends, and welcome to World Building Tuesday. Today we're going to be talking about magic in Wild River and magic systems in fantasy stories. So, fantasy stories tend to have two different kinds of magic systems. You have hard magic and soft magic. A good example of hard magic would be Brandon Sanderson and all of his books, throughout his Cosmere. On every world, for that world, he has a specific magic system, and that system has certain rules, certain limitations, and so you clearly know what the magic users in that world are capable of doing, what they're not capable of doing. You see what the limitations and the risks are, and that is a very interesting part of the story. There are other authors that do soft magic, and it can work. For example, Tolkien definitely is a soft magic guy. You're never really exactly sure what Gandalf is capable of doing. You know he's a wizard. You don't know exactly what he can do, what his powers are. He doesn't just go around shooting lightning bolts and fireballs at everyone. But and he can't just transform anything into anything else. So there are clearly limitations, but you don't really know what they are. But because of those limitations, he doesn't really use his magic all that much. So it doesn't become a huge part of the story. Now, another example of soft magic would be J.K. Rowling. Her story, in her stories, she has magic everywhere. Everything is magic, and that's a big part of the story. What makes the story fun is that they're able to do all these cool little things with their magic. But of course, the problem with that is that with magic being so abundant and so many different things that can be done with magic, it creates lots and lots of plot holes where you're constantly saying, so why couldn't they just do this or that? The biggest one I think is Hermione's time traveling. I mean, if they can time travel, if that capability exists in this world, then they should be able to take care of pretty much anything that's wrong through time traveling, right? So soft magic, it has problems in the sense that it opens up the story to all kinds of possibilities, where in the end you can have anyone solve any problem through what they call hand wavium, where a magic user can suddenly be able to do whatever they want just for the sake of pushing forward with the plot. Whereas with hard magic, the nice thing about that is that, like I said, it creates limitations and it allows you to clearly see what's possible and what's not in the story. And soft magic can work, but I definitely prefer hard magic. And in my story, in Wild River, there is a hard magic system. It's not as complex as some other hard magic systems, but it does have clear limitations and clear things that people can do and things that they can't do. So to give you just a brief overview of what that system is and how it works, excuse me. So the system, or the magic powers in this world, are inherited through bloodline. You get them from your parentage. You may or may not get it from your parents. So kind of like the Force in Star Wars. But there are different lines that have different powers. For example, there are seers, and of course these people are basically like psychics, and they can see into the past, into the future. They can see across distances. They can also see the true nature of things. Like if someone is, for example, pretending to be something that they're not, if they're using magic to pretend to be something that they're not, seers can see that. Specific within within that tree, I should say, that tree of descent, there are different kinds of seers who can do different things. Like one bloodline is really good at seeing into the future, another one can see into the past, another one can see the true nature of things. These are all seers, but they're kind of different kinds of seers, and it's generally hard for them to do the kind of seeing, the other kinds of seeing. Like they can do one kind of seeing very well, and maybe the others not so well, or if at all. Then there are also ragers. Ragers are they're basically like superheroes, kind of. They're very strong and resilient. They can heal very quickly. They can overcome poisons and diseases very quickly, but all that comes at a cost. It's not something that they can just do without limit. It comes at a cost, and that is a cost to them, to themselves. So there are limitations to what they can do. Also, There's another group called the Skeevers. They're also called Siphoners. They call themselves Siphoners. Everyone else calls them Skeevers. And the Skeevers, they have powers similar. Their capabilities are similar to the Ragers. They're very strong and resilient and fast. But that also comes at a cost. But that cost comes from other people. Other people pay the price, not the Skeevers. Actually, in the end, the Skeevers do kind of pay a price, but the initial price is paid by other people in their vicinity. And that's something that you'll see in the story. And then also there are creators. And this is actually a very important part of the story. Creators are basically, they have godlike powers. They can create the things that they can imagine in their minds. So they can do basically anything that they can conceptualize. So they can create something seemingly from nothing. They can transform things, but it requires a great amount of focus from them. Also, the more they do it, the more they utilize their power, the more they are separated from their mortal form, the more they become more godlike and are actually pulled away from mortality. So that basically, if they use their powers a whole lot, they die, because they're made no longer mortal. So anyway, those are some of the examples of magic that happen in the world of Wild River. There will be others in future stories. This is a continuing series. Some others will come along, but those are some of the main ones. Tell me what you think. Tell me what you like about hard magic versus soft magic. Tell me what you don't like. Subscribe below, and I'll see you in the next video.